payoff. And so this week they wore T-shirts saying, making a statement, you better pay us. But instead of just leaving it at that, Kelsey Plum for LA had to take a dig at Caitlin Clark.
Kelsey Plum thought she could throw shade at Caitlin Clark during All-Star Weekend and nobody would notice. Well, karma came knocking faster. Then a Clark three-pointer from the logo. The pettiness backfired spectacularly, and now Plum's getting roasted by everyone from NBA legends to social media. This whole situation is absolutely wild. Do you think Kelsey Plum crossed the line with her comments about Team Clark, or was this just harmless shade? Drop your thoughts below.
Are really, really good. So the T-shirts don't bother me. But why do you take a shot at the Golden Goose, Caitlin Clark? You guys were flying before she arrived on one of those airlines that made you pay for a cup of water. One of those airlines that is the planes are the color of a highlighter.
So here we are, again talking about grown women acting like middle schoolers over basketball drama. Kelsey Plum really thought she did something during All-Star Weekend when she decided to throw some not-so-subtle shade at Caitlin Clark. But honey, the universe said not today and served her some instant karma that was absolutely beautiful to watch. Let's break down this mess from the beginning because it's honestly too good not to dissect completely.
That was a very powerful moment. We didn't, at least as players, we didn't know that was going to happen. So I think it was kind of like a genuine surprise. But the T-shirt, just united front, was determined this morning that we had a meeting for. And, not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that. But no, we were just, we had a very...
that really needed to be mentioned.
I'm trying to make a situation light, okay? But yeah, no, I think it was just all of us getting on the same page for the game. We wanted to do something that was just united and collective, and I thought that it was a very powerful moment and got the point across, and sometimes you don't have to say anything.
During All-Star Weekend in Indianapolis, which, let's be real, was basically the Caitlin Clark show. Even though she couldn't play due to injury, the WNBA players decided to make their big political statement. They all came out wearing these "Pay Us What You Owe Us" T-shirts, which is hilarious on so many levels it's hard to know where to start. First off, the league has been losing money for literally 27 years straight. 27 years. This isn't some new financial struggle. This is a mathematical certainty at this point. The WNBA has never turned a profit. Not once, not ever. So when these players are demanding to be paid what they're owed, it's like asking your parents for your allowance when you've been grounded for breaking every rule in the house.
Kelsey Plum was the leading all-time scorer in women's college basketball until Caitlin Clark passed her up her final season at Iowa. So there's that, right? But I think we all understand that there's plenty of jealousy for Caitlin Clark around the WNBA, her spotlight, the endorsements she gets, and her fame. But Kelsey Plum, I could imagine her feeling a type of way because she really had a very similar college career with none of that spotlight, none of that. I think what she was trying to do there was make sure that Caitlin didn't get credit for the shirts, not realizing the backfire on the shirts that she didn't want to be associated. It was on purpose. But at the same time, kind of showing her hand in her cattiness towards Caitlin. So it just completely backfired on Kelsey Plum and Sabrina.
And Sabrina Ionescu's reaction. Chef's kiss. You could see her face drop the moment Plum said it. She knew exactly what was happening, and she did not approve. Sabrina tried to laugh it off and make the situation light, but the damage was done. The shade had been thrown, and everyone in that room knew it.
By the way, This is the least profitable, arguably, it'll be over the next 10 years. It's only going to get more profitable as women's basketball gets better, as the Caitlin Clark momentum train gets bigger. I mean, this year, she's not playing well. She's hurt. She's not there for all the games. So this is actually not as great as it could be. Like Michael Jordan, hurt year 2, next 12 years were legendary. That's what it's going to be. So I think they deserve a big raise, maybe not 50% of revenues, because NBA stars, there's a lot of them, and they move the needle. The WNBA stars.
The WNBA stars. Now, let's talk about why this was such a monumentally stupid thing for Plum to do. Caitlin Clark is literally the reason half these women have jobs right now. Before Clark came into the league, WNBA games were being played in front of crowds that looked like a family reunion. Now they're selling out arenas and breaking television viewership records left and right. Clark brought legitimacy, attention, and most importantly, money to a league that was basically on life support. And here's Kelsey Plum acting like Clark is somehow the enemy in their fight for better pay. It's like biting the hand that feeds you, except the hand is also signing your paychecks and keeping the lights on in your workplace.
At the Ritz-Carlton, keep your issues to yourself. All right? You went from a Motel 6 in a sketchy part of town to a 4 seasons in the shopping district. Stop talking. I don't mind the T-shirts. I think you have leverage. I think you deserve more than 9%. But it's just misstep after misstep. It's time to grow up, girls. Like fast. Like this is the player that got you off.
The funniest part about all of this is that Plum thought she was being clever. She really believed she could throw that little comment out there, and everyone would just nod along like, yeah, get her Kelsey. Instead, she got called out by literally everyone with a functioning brain. Stacey King, the 3-time NBA champion and former Chicago Bulls player, absolutely demolished Plum for her comments. And when a guy who used to go head-to-head with Dennis Rodman is telling you that you're being petty, you know you've crossed a line. King straight up said, these girls are making it harder on themselves by criticizing the very player who's making all this money possible. King's quote was absolutely perfect. As you're fighting for better salaries, you're portraying a united front at your biggest event. You still find a way to throw shade at Caitlin Clark. Why? Look at Sabrina's reaction to Plum's comment. It says a lot. Some of these girls are really petty, and someone needs to explain to them it's hurting their league, and it's sad to see. Boom. Roasted by someone who actually knows what it's like to win championships and deal with real pressure. King understood immediately what everyone else was thinking. This kind of behavior is counterproductive and embarrassing, but the karma train was just getting started. See, after throwing all this shade at Clark during All-Star Weekend, guess what happened? Kelsey Plum, who's an under-a-hour athlete, ended up at a Nike party. And who do you think saw those Instagram photos? That's right, Caitlin Clark herself. Now, Clark could have just ignored it. She could have taken the high road and pretended she didn't see anything. But no, our girl decided to serve some ice-cold revenge instead. She commented on Plum's Instagram post about the Nike party with a simple thanks for the Nike ad. The audacity, the precision, the absolute savage energy of that comment. Clark basically said, thanks for promoting my sponsor while you're supposed to be repping under a rower in the most polite, devastating way possible. It was like watching someone get murdered with kindness. The internet absolutely lost its mind over this comment. Within hours, that post went from having a few hundred likes to over 5,000. The reply section turned into a battlefield with people either dying, laughing at Clark's shade, or trying to defend Plum. But let's be honest, there's no defending getting caught. Promoting your rival's sponsor right after you tried to shade them publicly. And Plum's response to all this? Crickets. Complete silence. She didn't clap back. Didn't try to defend herself. Didn't even acknowledge what happened because what could she possibly say? Sorry I got caught being a hypocrite while trying to throw shade at the person who's single-handedly saving our league. The whole situation perfectly encapsulates everything wrong with how some WNBA veterans have handled Clark's rise to stardom. Instead of embracing the attention and money she's brought to the sport, they've chosen to be bitter and petty about it. It's like complaining that your restaurant is too busy after someone famous gave you a 5-star review. These players are fighting for better salaries, which is completely